ladies and gentlemen, and a cordial welcome to the 35th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. There are so many dignitaries here whom I actually should greet, but let me just say, you are here joining a great family, and we all welcome you very cordially. But a particular welcome goes to those who have been here many times before, our members, our partners, and of course, a special welcome also to our newcomers. May I just ask our newcomers to stand up for a moment, please? So I would like to, please stand for a moment, please stand for a moment. I would like to, the alumni are in a majority, but I would like to ask the alumni to pick out one newcomer and to act as a mentor and to help the newcomers to get through the complexity of this annual meeting. Ein herzliches Willkommen in
warm welcome to you, Mr. President, Mr. Samuel Schmid, President of the Swiss Confederation. I'd like to take this opportunity
den Bundesrat, der so prominent an diesem Jahrestreffen vertreten ist,
to
den Bundesbehörden,
convey to the federal councillor who is representing the Swiss government here, but I would like to convey also to the public authorities, the cantonal ones here, the federal ones here, my warmest thanks, because without their support we would not be able to hold this gathering here. It is the hospitality of the Swiss population and above all the hospitality tendered to us by the inhabitants here, the population of Davos, which supports us and our gathering, our annual gathering here. Thank you most warmly.
We are so delighted and honored to welcome you back to Davos. We had the pleasure to have you with us 5 years ago. Now today we welcome you not only in your capacity as the British Prime Minister, but also in your capacity as the head and host of the G8. Mr. Prime Minister, you will make a very important speech, and it's not a coincidence. We had this afternoon a town hall meeting, and we looked at all the challenges on the global agenda, and there were 1,000 people working during 3 hours. And the 3 main concerns were poverty, equitable globalization, and global warming. If I may add one word, a personal word, Mr. Prime Minister, there are very few global leaders who really incorporate the 3 most important dimensions to improve the state of the world: vision, values, and compassion. And you have them. Friends, this annual meeting is again unique and different. And there are 3 different reasons for it. First, it's a year in some way of the new beginnings. We have a new mandate for the administration of President Bush. We have a new President and the new European Commission just sworn in some days ago. We have a new Palestinian leadership. We have a new president in Ukraine who may rewrite European history. And, Prime Minister, we may have soon a new or renewed mandate for the British Prime Minister. Like every new beginnings, it's a window of opportunities. And what we want to do here at our annual meeting, we want to try to open those windows of opportunities. So there's a second reason. So last 3 years, you will remember, in 2001 in New York, we were very fixed, rightly so, on the issue of the fight against terrorism. So last 2 years, our mind was very much preoccupied by the war in Iraq. And of course, those issues are still very much present today. But what we want to do is to look at the global agenda in its integrality, in its totality. And we want particularly to look at those issues of generational importance. We do not want to be remembered as the first generation in human history who didn't anymore care for the next generation. So there's a third reason which should make this meeting special and unique. We all are still under the impression of the terrible tragedy of the tsunami and the great spirit of global solidarity. We want to keep this spirit alive, and we want to expand it. And I think it was you, Prime Minister, who mentioned first that there are many tsunamis around in the world. But tsunami has also shown something else, and it was underlined in the speech of President Chirac. The big challenges in the world can be addressed only through collaborative efforts of governments, international organizations, business, and other institutions of civil society. And here we are, a wonderful, a most representative, a most powerful community of business leaders, of politicians, of NGOs, of religious leaders, of cultural leaders, of young global leaders, of social entrepreneurs. Here we are to live up to our mission statement, committed to improving the state of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Federal Councillor, Samuel Schmid.
Herr Professor Schwab, Mr. Prime Minister.
Mr. Prime Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Swiss government, I would like to welcome you warmly to the 35th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. I'd like to thank Professor Schwab and his team for this annual initiative of calling to Davos eminent leaders from politics, the economy, science and culture.
It is your mind.
It is your mind that creates this world. The words spoken by Buddha should accompany us during these days of the World Economic Forum, because it is this, our mind and spirit, that has provoked the existential imbalance of the world. If thought and life attitudes put their mark on the reality of tomorrow, then this forum is a true opportunity, an opportunity for economic development and prosperity, but also for more peace, for more justice worldwide, for more responsibility worldwide. Therefore, a chance and opportunity for more equilibrium, for more opportunities, for more equal treatment, for less abuse of the oppressed and the mistreated and the victims of political dissent. It is your mind that creates this world. It does, however, presuppose that we have an immediate moral and honest willingness of wanting to create this world of peace and more just distribution. For this to succeed, we need encounters and we need a common language of responsibility. That is why we now have the opportunity to understand other viewpoints through dialogue, to perceive connections, to define and name conflicts, and to seek for new sustainable solutions by changing the way we think. But this will probably only succeed if we find the courage to actually put new questions. Albert Einstein remarked that with the thought patterns that caused the problems in the first place, it is hardly likely that these problems can be solved. That is why the forum has to be open-minded, because questions, new questions, uncomfortable questions do at times lead to answers. The World Economic Forum will also have to open more doors and open them more widely to those who have been heard least so far. The voices of the disenfranchised of this world, of the poor, of the abused and mistreated, have to be opened to them and to the representatives and organizations who truly defend the interests of these individuals. This is where the forum can build bridges. This is where it can become an even more pluralistic opinion forum. The World Economic Forum itself has drafted a list of the greatest threats and challenges of the world. I'll just mention a few. Every fourth inhabitant of the planet's 6 billion population has less than $1 to survive. Until 2050, 40% of the population by then will have too little drinking water if we do not find the right solutions. Energy will become even scarcer. The survival of 1 billion individuals depends directly on the ecosystem, and even an increasingly larger number of ecosystems are being destroyed. Tropical forests and pasture lands are disappearing, and deserts are replacing flourishing countrysides. The list of threats also includes the propagation of mass weapons of destruction and terrorism, and so on and so forth. Now, these are not the problems that concern others. They are our problems. And to resolve them, we need a strong economy and successful businesses. In addition to that, we also need business leaders to understand their collective responsibility. It will not be possible to avoid tough choices and should therefore not be taken as a pretext for selfish action. We can learn from history that only what is understood and accepted by those concerned can have any substance at all. Democratic order and rule of law, of course, are prerequisites for this. We must therefore continuously seek the essence of the ethical fundamental values, because only on this kind of foundation can we build something that will last. Decency, human dignity, fairness, trust and tolerance. There will always be differences, and tolerance makes such differences possible, just as differences make tolerance necessary. The Swiss Constitution sets forth in its preamble the strength of a people is measured by the welfare of the weakest of its members. Let us then measure our actions accordingly. Switzerland, which is a neutral country and state, is willing to make its contribution towards these endeavors, as we already do within the framework of international organizations, as we do within the framework of the promotion of peace with the help of our military, and as we are doing currently in Sumatra. We protect and support democracy, freedom of belief and religion. In his speech of investiture, President John F. Kennedy already said, all this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, and possibly not even in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. Yes, let us begin, because we are in a race with time. The horror of the tidal wave so recently showed us the limitations of what we believe is feasible, but it has also demonstrated how, for the first time in the history of the world, global solidarity is possible. And this certainly gives us hope. So it does exist. Humankind is, after all, evolving towards humanness. The terrible disaster caused by this tidal wave has also proven that we are all interrelated and connected, that human beings worldwide stick together and show solidarity when it counts, and that we can work together towards the development of humans and life. It is your mind that creates the world. Let us then, in the days to come, explore these new questions about the parameters of a new, sustainable and viable ethic in political action. Maybe we can continue from where a unique example of global solidarity at the beginning of this year began. Taking responsibility for tough choices, and let me add, for tough questions to create a better world for more people. Thank you for your attention.
Danke vielmals. Herzlichen Dank, Herr.
Thank you very much, Mr. Federal President.